Welcome back to the Morning Blend. Well, normally the Bayshore Town Center is filled with shoppers looking for the latest trends, but 1 week from Sunday, the mall will be filled with people walking to bring awareness to a life-threatening disease.
That's right. Here to tell us about the 2016 walk for PKD is Jacque English and Jeff Nelson from the Milwaukee Chapter of the PKD Foundation. Thanks for being here, both of you.
Nice
Thanks for having us.
I'm not real familiar with PKD, and I think a lot of people aren't sure what it is. What exactly is it for PKD?
Sure. Polycystic Kidney Disease, that's PKD, is a genetic disease. It's one of the most common life-threatening genetic diseases there are. Essentially what happens is your kidneys fill up with fluid-filled cysts, and it causes kidney failure.
So now both of you have the disease, correct?
Yes.
In your case, it's more advanced because you're already on a transplant waiting list, right?
Right, exactly.
Several lists, in fact.
I'm on three transplant lists, right, exactly. And I started dialysis in November of 2013.
Okay, so that was 3 years ago.
Right.
So what happens? How does the disease progress to the point where you need then eventually dialysis and a transplant in your case?
Well, everyone's got a different trajectory when it comes to that kidney disease and how fast it progresses. Some people that have polycystic kidney disease may not actually develop complications until they're in the 60s, like my mom. But in my case, I developed it when I was 52. So, you know, but most people develop it in their 50s. That's the average.
Okay.
So it's genetic, right?
It is.
Yeah.
So that's who would be affected. Can you get it if somebody in your family line doesn't have it?
There are incidences of genetic mutation. It's actually kind of a growing way of getting PKD. They are finding that people are having a genetic mutation and having the disease without any family history. So it is possible.
There is a strong genetic link. You have 2 kids? You have 2 daughters?
I do.
Okay.
I have 2 daughters.
Do you test them, or is there a way to know whether or not either one of them might have PKD?
There are tests out there. We've opted not to at this point. My daughters are both little. My oldest is 18 months. My youngest is 2 months. So we've opted not to at this point. As Jeff pointed out, the complications don't really happen until you're much older. So our hope is that there will be some kind of a treatment or a cure by the time they need it.
And do you have children?
I do. I have 2 adult boys, but they were adopted, so they won't have the
Okay.
infection.
Okay. Yeah, I would think that's a difficult part of it is thinking about that. You seem very young. Have you experienced any of the symptoms of it yet?
Some of them. I do have high blood pressure, which is treated with medication right now. That's usually one of the first signs of polycystic kidney disease. And at this point, I monitor my blood work, and I see my nephrologist, and I drink lots of water and try and stay healthy, and so far, so good.
What is the example of the football for?
Well, the thing is that normally your kidney would be about this size.
Okay, hold that up a little bit so we can see it.
That's a healthy kidney.
Okay.
And my kidney is actually, when I was at Freighter this year for a CT scan, my kidney on my left side, because one was removed for the previous transplant, my left kidney is 12 inches by 5 inches.
Wow.
So this is an NFL football, and this is about 9.5 inches by 5 inches. So to give you an idea, I've got a kidney that's inside of me that's this big. And when I had both of them, I was quite big. I looked like
Really?
Jacque probably did 3 months ago when she was pregnant. So,
Yeah.
Yeah, right. So do you see it in the front? Because aren't kidneys kind of in the back?
Well, they are, but my kidneys were actually, touching in the middle and pushing out the sides. And so when I stood in front of the mirror, it was not a real pretty sight.
So you could see them and
Yes,
feel
absolutely.
them.
You can feel them, exactly. You could touch them and feel them. And the doctors would feel them, palpate the cysts, and they're like, oh yeah, absolutely, they can see them. But
Was it painful?
yes, they are painful, exactly. And I was on pain medication for a long time, too, to try to help alleviate and manage some of that pain.
Another question, are kidney stones at all related to PKD? Or are those 2 very separate
I think they're very separate.
kidney issues?
I don't know very many people or haven't heard about that, but if you've got
Okay.
kidney stones, that would be a person who would not be a good candidate for a kidney transplant, because we wouldn't want to transplant someone who developed stones. That kidney would develop stones in the whoever
New
would receive
person.
that. And exactly.
It seems like then that there's a real immediate, and maybe this is stating the obvious, immediate need for a cure and donors for transplants.
Absolutely. And I was in a clinical study at the Mayo Clinic for a drug
Right.
called tolvaptan. That has about a 50% success rate. I was in the study for about 7 years. Unfortunately, it just didn't work for me.
Yeah.
But it has worked for others, and I know one woman who it works very well for. So, there's hope.
Can you've got one kidney now.
Correct.
We all have two, and that's something I said earlier. I said, don't we all have two? You said yes, and that's why you only need one, right? So you can be a living donor.
You can share your spare.
You can share your spare.
That's exactly it.
Yeah, so you can have a living donation, and they actually tend to be more successful in a long term. They tend to last a little longer than other kidneys. So.
Well, you've got this walk coming up, and it's Sunday the 18th. People can participate, learn more about PKD. It's at Bayshore, as we mentioned before. It's going to be filled at Bayshore with not shoppers, but walkers, raising money for PKD. Registration is at 8:30. The walk is at 10. You can learn more and register at their website, which is walkforpkd.org. I'm sure you can learn more about being a donor there, as well how to participate in the local chapter. Here's all the information again on your screen for you to take advantage. Again, Sunday, September 18th at Bayshore. Thanks for being here, you guys.
And you also have a meeting, I just noticed, too, and one of them is tonight, right?
We do.
At 6:30. Is it a support group meeting?
It is. Yep, we meet the first Tuesday of every month, 6:30 at the Freighter Community Center rooms.
Okay, so and people could go to your Facebook page to find out more
Milwaukee
about
Chapter PKD.
you and those meetings.
Yeah.
Guys. Great. Nice to meet
Thanks,
both
you guys.
of you.
Such a pleasure.
Thanks for
Thank
sharing.
you.
Appreciate it.